All right. Good morning.
Good morning.
April, would you introduce yourself? Tell us your DOC number.
My name is April Loden. My DOC is
Did you hear it?
Yes, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yes.
My
Yes.
name, my name is April Loden. My DOC number is 727-416.
Okay, April, let me acknowledge we have some folks who are joining us today. We have Keely Parker and Mark Says who will be speaking at the appropriate time. We'll ask them to do so. So first of all, April, you are classified as a second felony offender. You are
Yes, ma'am.
currently serving a 5-year sentence for 2 separate sex offenses in Ross Parish. One is indecent behavior with a juvenile, and then carnal knowledge. Excuse me. Your parole eligibility was April 1st of this year. You do not earn good time, and you have full-term date, which is July 1st, 2024. Is all that accurate?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So I'll start the interview process with you. You, as I mentioned, you had 2 separate sex offenses. One was in 2017 with how old were you when that occurred?
26.
And the victim was 16.
Yes, ma'am.
There was alcohol and drugs involved.
No, ma'am.
So what happened?
Can I change my answer on that one? They were under the influence of drugs and alcohol, but I wasn't.
Right. The record indicates that you provided the drugs and alcohol.
No, ma'am. They came to my house. I was on the influence of my sleeping pills.
So you were under the influence.
Yes, ma'am. Of my medication that was prescribed to me.
Right. That was in 2017. We may go back to that. Then you were afforded probation, I believe. Is that correct?
Yes.
After
Yes,
conviction. Then you had another sex offense in 2020.
Yes, ma'am.
And that victim was 10 years old.
Yes, she's my daughter.
She was your daughter, your biological daughter. And,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
you were originally charged with first-degree rape, and you entered a plea agreement.
Yes, ma'am.
So your drugs or alcohol involved in those instances?
No, ma'am.
So what happened?
She had a yeast infection and she kept itching her private area. And I asked her to let me look, and I cleaned off what tissue and stuff that was there, and I gave her some monostat cream to put on it, and I was doing what I felt as a mother helping her, and I brought her to the doctor to get her treated for the yeast infection.
Well, that doesn't jive with the reports that we have. Why would she say otherwise?
I don't know exactly what was said. I haven't talked to her in more than 3 years. I got to see my case file. My, what you call it, motion of discovery for a couple of seconds, and I didn't get to see it again the whole time I was incarcerated.
So you're saying you didn't do anything to your daughter?
No, I'm not saying I didn't do anything. I admit to my wrongdoing on both cases.
So it was more than treatment for a yeast infection?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. That's not what you said earlier. So tell us about, I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around why a mother would do something like that to a daughter. And then, why would a 26-year-old take advantage of a 16-year-old?
Yes, ma'am.
And you took sex offender treatment, right?
Yes, ma'am. I'm on my third phase. There's 4 phases, and I've made it to facilitating the class. I have one more test to take, which is a lot, but I'm working on it.
So what did you learn? I mean, I told you I'm having a hard time understanding it. What kind of understanding have you come to about how it's all?
I'm leaving my children where they reside. I learned that how not to reoffend, or um, and how she feels.
Oh, how does she feel?
Betrayed, hurt. I lost my trust as a mother. I've
Given any thought to the 16-year-old?
I had that was I regret what I've done in both cases. It should have never happened.
Have you had any substance abuse treatment?
Yes, ma'am. I've took substance abuse, took anger management, substance abuse, parenting,
What was your substance choice?
marijuana.
And what was the name of your class? The substance abuse class, your substance abuse was the name of it?
Yes, ma'am.
How long was that program?
I think it was either 6 or 12 weeks. I have my
Remember?
ma'am.
You don't remember 6 weeks, 12 weeks? You don't remember?
Oh, ma'am, I don't remember how long it was. I take I took in a lot of classes all at the same time.
I do see you did Living in Balance 1 and 2, which is the substance abuse class, and completed it in
Yes.
2021. You did Thinking for Change, finished that in 2021. You did Victim Impact Training, you just finished that in March of this year. What did you get out of that class?
That's the class that I got. I was where I learned that I was wrong and how it affected not just her but everybody around us. It affected her grandparents. It affected me. It affected my son's father, and everybody around us. And it taught me how to relate to how she feels.
And you do have 2 victims.
Yes, ma'am. How they feel.
So whenever you get out of jail, whether it be on parole or your full term date, where would you live?
I own my own house in Bunkie.
Anybody lives there?
Ma'am.
Does anybody live there now?
Yes, ma'am. My father. He's living in my house, so nobody will break into it.
What's your level of education?
I'm currently in school, but it was the 11th grade.
You're currently enrolled in the high set program?
Yes, ma'am. I took my high set in reading, but I failed it twice and I only got one more chance. And I'm working on math. Like that's the course I'm learning right now is high set math.
Right. And whenever you get out, how are you going to support yourself?
I get a disability check, and if I have to wait for it to get turned on, but meanwhile, my father will help support me. If not, I'll get a job that I can handle meanwhile.
I must say, I do have some concerns about the residents, residing in the residence with the father. It seems as though he may have been involved in some similar activities,
Um,
pornography.
yeah, that's what they say.
What do you say?
I don't know. I wasn't around him like that. He was currently living in Missouri and came down here for my son's birthday, and they asked to see his phone. That's all, and they found whatever they found in his phone, like that had nothing to do with me.
All right. Warden, is there anything that you can tell us about Ms. April?
Well, she's been with us for about 2 years now. She hasn't had any write-ups with us. She did recently complete the literacy class since being here. So that was on 7/6/2021. She has been enrolled in various classes. Um, and I did want to just mention she has a mental health level care of 3, which, she does have some mental health issues, but she's been on her medication and everything is in remission currently.
Good to know. Thank you. Appreciate it. So we'll hear now from the folks who have joined us by Zoom. First, we'd like to hear from Ms. Keely Parker, excuse me. Ms. Parker, can you unmute your phone and tell us what you'd like us to know?
Okay, I'd like to start off by when the situation happened with my child and Miss April. I was not made aware of it right away, and when I did, then I was also made aware of some underlying circumstances of a health problem that April had that had been transmitted to my child via a doctor's visit. So the situation between my son and April has affected him, and it will continue to affect him for the rest of his life. He cannot have a normal life like most young men should be able to do. He is still an emotional disaster from this. He cannot talk about it without getting extremely angry. He just keeps telling me that he wants to forget it happened, which I don't know that will ever be able to happen due to the circumstances that he contradicted a STD in the process of all of this. And I understand that I heard April say earlier that she does not provide them with alcohol or drugs. And based on the information that I received from my son and both other juveniles that were in attendance that night, she did provide them with alcohol and drugs. I know that's hearsay on my part, but I'd have to say 3 against 1. I'm pretty much going to lead to believe what they have to say. And I hear that she's taking these classes and doing all this stuff. I don't understand what the mental health in remission means, because once you have a mental health issue, I understand taking medication, you can control the issues. But as far as going into remission, I don't understand that part of it. And I deal with mental health clients on a daily basis. But my main thing is I want everybody to understand that this is something that has affected my son traumatically. He has been spinning off and on with just drowning himself with alcohol to the point that at 21 years old, he had to get on medication for his liver. So it's something that he'll deal with the rest of his life in any relationship that he gets into. And I just don't see that being she committed another crime after the crime she committed with my child. There was very much remorse between him and committing the second crime. And I just don't know that she could be a productive member of society at this point. That's just my personal feeling.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for sharing your feelings with us. we have with us Mr. Mark Says. Sir, we'd like to hear from you.
They want to hear from you.
So you start testimony?
Yeah.
Yes,
Go ahead, sir.
my name is Mark Says, yes, Kylie is my granddaughter. We've been, keeping Kylie for a very long time before any of this stuff happened. And, the things that we found, it started about 3 years old. I'm not gonna go too deep into this, I wanna get to the other part. But to let you know, Kylie was being abused by at the age of 3 years old. My wife was taking, she wanted to take a bath, and so she wanted my wife to talk to her. And how a kid, she played with these toys and stuff. So she spun around one day, and my wife seen between her legs, and she was red as fire. And the situation with that is it did not stop at that one time. We talked about this stuff, and I told Lucille about it, what we need to do, and I tried to get it to go through the schoolhouse to get this turned in that she was molesting her child then. And it was only not her, it was her Aunt Erica was involved in this too. So, that went on there until the time that they finally busted her in 2019 of what she done with those two boys right there. Now, the thing is that it never stopped there. She, back in 2019 and probably 2018, part of that, they had her daddy, James Loden, was living in Oklahoma, but he moved to Minnesota, to Missouri. And the thing is, he come in and stuff, but then he started doing stuff. He was taking pictures of Kylie. She was there watching him take pictures of Kylie, and James was also fooling with her between her, in her private area. And that went on for a number of years right there. And then the second thing I want to tell y'all, her man, Jake Lavergne, was her boyfriend during that time. She also had Jake Lavergne having sex with Kylie right in her presence, doing this stuff. So my granddaughter's been through a whole lot. She's had a hard time. She's doing good now. The therapy, that stuff that they went through counseling, and now Kylie is a decent girl. She tried to also set my own son up for this doing these things to Kylie, and which was unreal. They even took us to court, but we won the court battle because it was a non-true bill. She's been doing this stuff for a very long time. She got Jake Lavergne having sex with Kylie and her watching all that take place. And I don't see what kind of mother could do something like that. I know as a father, I couldn't bear to watch that at all. And just knowing it right here is really upsetting about this situation because, Kylie might not even be able to have children right now. She did whatever she used on her. She hurt Kylie on the inside bad. I'm not sure if it was some big deal or whatever they want to call that sort of thing, but she hurt her bad, and they were thinking that she may never have kids because she never started her period. Well, this year here, about February, she finally started, but that still don't mean that they think that she'll probably never have a kid because of the damage that she's done to her. And so, we taken good care of Kylie. She's happy. She graduated from the the 7th grade to the 8th grade, and she's at home with us. Her daddy's around. She gave my son, a bad rap, which was not so. And Kylie was very happy to be there, and she still is uh, doing everything that she can to get over all this stuff. She does not try to talk about it. She went with my wife, talked to me, and it was at one point there she said she can handle it, and so far she is. It's just a horrible thing that April has done to this child. She was only 13. Back during that time, she was only about 12, 11 or 12.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Saban. I appreciate you. Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Saban. I appreciate you sharing that information with us, and I'm glad to hear that Lily is doing okay. All right, April, is there a brief statement you'd like to make to us before we go?
Yes, ma'am. I wanted my sympathy goes out to my daughter and to her son. I've owned up to everything that has happened, and I feel like I could be a member of society again. I know what I've done wrong, and I know where I've messed up, and I don't plan on anything like that ever happening again. I don't want no children around me. Um, I don't. I just want to live at my house and stay to myself.
All right, April, we're prepared to vote. I'll be voting first. Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but I don't believe you were very forthcoming with us today. I don't think you were totally honest with us. I do believe, I'm glad to hear you're making some progress in your efforts for the GPD. I think you do need some more programs. There's law enforcement opposition, and you have a high needs in terms of education. So I think it's important that you do complete whatever programs you need. My vote today is to deny you parole.
April, you do have some work to do. I want to commend you on the work that you have done, but you have ways to go. Mrs. Sayes, I'm just so glad to hear what you're doing, the impact you have on your granddaughter's life. It's just wonderful. So my vote is the same, denied for the same reasons. It's already been stated on the record.
Ms. Jackson?
Ms. Love, my vote likewise is to deny, say you owned up to everything, owned up to nothing, you have told the truth about giving alcohol and meth to the boy, you didn't tell the truth about the contact you have with your daughter. And I'm gonna be honest, the trouble for me is that you're facilitating a sex offender group when you're not even telling the truth to yourself about your own crimes. I don't think you should be facilitating a group when you're still not being honest about what you've done yourself. You're a repeat offender, you have a course in religion history, you lack candor in your responses to the board. So my vote today is to deny.
All right, Ms. Loden, your parole today has been denied. We're going to move on. That concludes our business today. We're going to adjourn. It's 11:06. Thanks for accommodating.